What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video where we're going to take a look at some of the changes made to weapons coming in Year 6 Season 3, starting with the PTS later today. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and let's get straight into it. So while we're waiting for the PTS to go live, I thought it was time to do some numbers and play the numbers games a little bit and look at some of these changes that they are making. Now, a lot of them, I've not actually looked at the results. I've done the numbers, but not looked at the results yet. I don't think off face value that any of them are too significant. I don't think there's going to change too much because in the main, most of it is a sustained DPS change. But what is interesting, so obviously we'll look at this one here. We're going to have a closer look on how the Lexington's going to be affected. That gun's obviously top tier. And it's had a they called it a 1.1% XL nerf because obviously whereas we go off numbers off Excel sheets, they take different things into consideration as well. So there's that to think about. And then if we come off this and take a look at the rifles, 3 of the rifles actually got a buff as well, so that actually affects that whole category as a whole. I haven't done pistols. Pistols for sustained DPS, it's never a thing that anyone's ever going to be bothered about. All that we can look at here is go, oh yeah, pistols are better to reload. So yeah, GG's on them. But we're going to start off with the assault rifles. So if this plays out, oh, it does. Look at that. These are IKEA's spreadsheets. I'll link his channel down below. They're absolutely brilliant. I use them for everything now. They're so good. This side I've modified his spreadsheet so that this is represents the new values for the PTS anyway, and this is his OG spreadsheet. Now for assault rifles, I only made the changes for the sustain section because that's the one that counts the reload DPS in. Burst doesn't include the reload, and therefore the changes to reload don't matter, so we don't need to worry about all that. And I'm sure IKEA will update these properly at some point. This is me just shoehorning stuff in quickly so that I can get a rough idea before the PTS launches. If you're watching on mobile, it's probably going to be quite difficult. I can't do anything to make any of the numbers bigger, so you might just have to listen to me. But there is a slight shift here with the ARs. So the AKM drops down and the AUG goes up by only 0.5%. So it's a little bit weird. The TKB kind of, drops down a little bit of a position, but there's no real, it's all like up one, down one, up one, down one. Like, so the MK16 here was what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place. The MK16 now, 1, 2, oh dear, now I'm destroying things. 3, 4, 5, goes to 6th place. The FAL looks like it drops down a little bit, which is not great for it, considering it has such a small mag. That's a bit of a shame. But nothing's getting worse, right? That sounds negative. Nothing's getting, other things are actually getting better. It's just now that some things actually might be a little bit better. The FAMAS for sustain stays at the bottom, and we know that's one of the best guns in the game. So yeah, there's nothing really too much to write all around. It's a very small shift between all of them. The percent stay, insanely close together. Nothing really changes too much. Lexington for burst DPS stays in the middle, and really you're going to want to, as always with my recommendations, look for a gun that you like to use that's at the top of the burst sheet, and if it's towards the top of the sustain as well, you're in for a massive treat. It's going to be a huge dub. So yeah, there isn't huge changes, and this is why I'm going to do all categories in this video at the same time rather than make one for each, because they're not meta changing here. They're just kind of nudging around things a little bit. The biggest change that I see, just looking at it, is for the honey badger. Now that wasn't in the list for a change, so because of that it slips down, but I've got a funny feeling it's probably just slipped through the net. The F2000 wasn't on there either, thinking about it, was it? Oh yeah, F2000 was, so 2.4. So it was F2000, so it was 2.47. Yeah, it's been changed to 2.4. So yeah, that's the biggest. Yeah, honey badger really. Oof, 2.06. So the honey badger, yeah, did. Okay, so honey badger slipped. I'm going to talk about it the wrong way around because this is the old one. The honey badger is actually probably the one that's moved up the most. Looking at it, so it's 10th here now, and it's 3rd in burst DPS. Ooh, honey badger with close and personal. That's yeah, that's definitely gonna be one to test out and look at. That's a nice buff for the honey badger. Nice buff for that seems to be the one that looks like it's benefited the most from these changes. So anyway, let's move on. We digress, but that's what it looks like now. So we're going to flip over to SMGs. So here we are now in SMGs. And again, very, very similar. Everything kind of looks the same in SMG land. The P90 looks like it's gone down. Yeah, because the Banshee's moved up a couple. So the Banshee moved up a couple of spots on it. So that's all that's happened there. MP7's kind of stayed. Yeah. Yeah, very, very similar. Probably not a lot of notice to be taken there either. LMGs, let's flip over. So the Stoner with the rate of fire calculation now hits the top spot for sustain. Not surprised, really, considering the huge mag size on that thing. So yeah, that's not a surprise either. What is a little bit of a surprise is how much the MG5 has dropped down a little bit, but it's not too much, right? Because obviously IKEA is very good. He does the rate of fire. He does multiple calculations for LMGs depending on what talent you're running. So as you can see here, it looks like there's quite a lot. It's quite a lot here, but some of them are duplicated. You can see multiple Stoners, multiple GR9s, for etc. So it hasn't dropped down too much, but the Stoner definitely picked up a few spots here. Yeah, it definitely has, and the GR9 as well. Both great guns to use. I like the GR9 a lot, so no complaints here. But there isn't a huge meta shift here. It's a little bit, I don't understand these changes too much. They're very, very minor. So maybe they're just a little bit unhappy with how some things are right now, and they just need to make a few changes. Now to probably what is the most interesting category out of all of this, as we get to the video being 8 minutes. I'm worried how long it is already. The UIC then takes the top spot for sustain with rifles, moving itself up from 4th place to 1st place, which is pretty interesting. MK47 stays at 2nd spot. Lightweight M4 stays where it is as well with sustain, which is pretty interesting. And apart from that, again, not a lot of things kind of changed too much. MK17 comes out of this pretty rough by the looks of it. Have I done that right? 4.45. Did that not get a buff? Or have I made a mistake there? MK17 isn't in the list, and that's why. That is why. Okay. Or is it the Scar though? That might be why. That might be why. Yeah, 14,850. That is the right gun. So its reload speed's being changed from 247 to 245. Is that it? 245. Yeah, it is. All right. So yeah, so that takes a bit of a sustained hit. Not that it's being nerfed, but everything else is being made better. Again, I'm looking at it the wrong way around when I say that. So that does drop down in the sustain table significantly. That's probably the biggest change when we look at what's going on here. But we are going to also scroll these down a little bit, and we're going to look at burst, because it doesn't, even though there are changes in damage, nothing's actually changed, right? Oh, there's a few things changed. Yeah, actually, UIC has now got its, hang on, so which gun's got, let's just double check this. So UIC got a change, right? So that's definitely made a big difference. It's gone from bottom to mid tier with burst DPS. That's a significant change. Significant change. Almost a 10% by the looks of it with this rating. 11% buff in damage. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Yeah, you can see there from 14 to 16. That is huge. And then the LM4, lightweight M4. So, yeah, not a big change. It still sits at the bottom of the table. So, yeah, that's not a huge change there. That's because the LVOAC, though, now is dropped right down. Well, yeah, that's a bit of a change there. So, not a huge change for that. But the MK47, this one should be interesting. Let's have a look at this one. The MK47. Oh. 12,4870. Have I done that right? Let's make sure. 12,4870. Yeah, I have. Yeah. 12. Yeah. So even though that's had a good buff, yeah, it still sits at the bottom. It's still trash. Everything. It's yeah, nothing to write home about. There looks like the MK47 needs more of a change, but the UIC is definitely going to be the one to watch in the rifle category with its double buff. And obviously, I've not checked if they didn't put that it's going to affect any exotics or anything like that, and I've not really checked, anything like that either. But yeah, I just thought I'd do a quick roundup video for us to take a look at. It's actually a little bit more interesting than what I thought. The UIC is definitely one to look out for. I don't think we'll notice any difference with the Lexington. I think it will still seem very powerful and seem great. But with the LMGs, the GR9, I think is, still very, very good. And I think will probably be great. The Stoner, again, great. Yeah. M60, yeah, all very good still. Not too much of a difference with any of them there, but yeah, I like the GR9. So having the 200 mag, just yeah, it's a nice little buff. So yeah, buffs all around, pretty good. I'm gonna call that a wrap now while I still wait for the PTS to launch, hopefully in the next kind of 20 minutes or so. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments as always down below. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and check out IKEA for his spreadsheets. Bye bye.